Hi guys, welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a mid-month reading for the sign of Aries. Sun, Moon and Ascendant. It's going to be shorter than the general monthlies because I've designed it to be just like an energetic snapshot. See where you are right now, what's coming towards you, that kind of thing. So, I'll pull 3 cards for where you are right now. 3 cards for what's coming towards you, and then maybe 3 cards for advice, something like that. And if there's any information, have a look in the description box, because any information that you're after, have a look in the description box, because I probably put it in there already. So, let's have a look. 3 cards for Aries, please, for the last 2 weeks of February. Oh. Oh. Whoa. Wow. Okay. So, we've got Strength, but it's in the reverse. It's a card of Leo. We've got the Hierophant, which is in the upright, which is the card of Taurus. And then we've got the Ten of Wands. Now, my first instinct is that you're sitting in a situation at the moment that's making you feel quite disempowered. And this could be something to do with work. Certainly business of some description. But let's start here, right? So Leo, this is the card of Leo, right? And it talks about inner strength, it talks about character, it talks about all those kind of things that are caused by surviving adverse situations. You know, it's that inner core that makes you strong, but it's a kind of soft power. It's not about wrestling bull, you know, or lions or anything like that. It's about being able to survive difficult situations, right? But coming up this way around, as it did, it talks about feeling disempowered. It talks about feeling disconnected from that inner core, that well that you can draw on when things are difficult. And then we've got the Hierophant. Now it could be that there's a Taurus that has left you feeling in that state. That's possible. When I said it could talk about work, right, because the Hierophant talks about tradition, and it talks about institutions, and specifically it talks about those institutions or circumstances where you get one person at the top and then you have, you know, layered people underneath, like upper management, upper middle management, that sort of thing. Right. So it can be business, but it could equally be churches, it could be schools, it could be higher education, it could be something like that. You know, it talks about commitment as well, because there's a prescribed path to follow to reach the top. You know, we know it doesn't always work like that, but that's how it's set up, stepped progression. And you have to commit to it in order to reach the top. If it's possible for you to get to the top, following the stepped progression will get you there. But oddly, I feel a sense of sort of disconnection again, there's that word, I already used it. Disconnection with this card. Like there's one chap and he's set right back. And there's a stream in the middle here. And like if you were to approach him, you'd only be able to get as far as the bank, and then the water would keep you separate. And this feels like you. Are you feeling very disconnected from an energy, from a situation? And it's leaving you disempowered because you are disconnected from your ability to be able to deal with it. And then we've got the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands is a card of burden, right? It's a card of things being too hard. You know, at some point, this person picked up all of these sticks because the amount of energy that it was going to, you know, cost him to get them home would be, you know, outweighed by the benefits once he got there. And although he's not far away from his home now, like, the sticks are too heavy. You know, they're digging in his back, and his legs are going to go beneath him. it's a 10, so it's an end, right? It's hitting breaking point, things being too hard, and it being time to put those sticks down. You know, for me, there's always a sense of there being a better way to do this that you're not seeing. Because for me, it's perfectly logical that, you know, given that he's literally only there, you know, that far away from his house, perhaps the sensible thing would be to stop for a couple of minutes, halve the number of sticks that he's carrying home, and do 2 trips. You know, even cut it into thirds, do 3 trips. Or maybe he didn't even need all of those ones in the first place. Maybe he only really needed 4, but he thought he was stronger and he could carry more. And now it's starting to get to the point where he can't carry any of them, you know. Being a 10, it's about the end. You know, from here, you go back to the Ace of Wands, ideally. Tell me more about the 10 of Wands, please. Tell me more about the 10 of Wands. Oof. Got strength now, the right way up at the bottom of this deck. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles and Temperance, right? It's more earth energy. It's more working, more of this. This is under the 10 of Wands. What it is that is proving to be difficult for you at the moment is something that you've been working on for a long time, right? This is something that you've put in lots of slow, methodical effort to. And you thought you could keep it up. You thought that it would be worth it in the end, but it's turning out not to be. It's turning out that it's hurting you. And once you finally get to your destination, you're either not going to have any sticks at all, you're going to burn yourself out, or you're going to just have 1 or 2 sticks, which, you know, you could have just picked them up and had 1 in each hand and just carried them home easily. It saved your energy, you know. Because where you are at the moment is in a disempowered state off the back of this. And what happens if you need to do something tomorrow? What happens if you do need to wrestle ball tomorrow? You're too tired, you're burnt out. And we've got Temperance, which talks about healing. It talks about balance. It talks about restoring those things, right? Because it's 14 for me, it reduces down to a 5. Well, obviously it reduces down to a 5. But for me, I interpret Temperance to be coming off the back of difficult situations, which 5s always are, right? 5s talk about conflict. They talk about uncomfortable change. They talk about all of these things. And slap bang in the middle of your reading is a Hierophant, which is card number 5. Like, there is a need here to put this down, to stop plodding away at whatever it is that you're doing, because you are burning yourself up, and to regain balance with yourself internally, because you're leaving yourself fit for nothing. Is the message here, I think. Right. That's harsh, Aries. I feel you. Sorry about that. Excuse me. So, now 3 cards for what's coming towards Aries for the last 2 weeks of February, please. 3 cards for Aries. First card is the Sun. I like that. The Devil's flipped. I'm going to put it back in because it flipped, it didn't jump. It could certainly, being as it would have sat underneath a Hierophant, it could certainly talk about toxic work situations, toxic hierarchical situations. We've got the Hermit. It's a card of Virgo. What's coming towards Aries is Page of Wands. That's great. I really, really like that. Right. At the bottom of the deck now, we've got 2 of Wands. It talks about coming to a crossroads. Right. So I love the fact that she's staring into a crystal ball there, because it talks directly underneath. We've got the Queen of Wands as well. It's the card of Aries. It talks about coming to a crossroads and looking at your crystal ball and trying to work out which decision, which decision, trying to make a decision about which direction to take, right? Because you've hit the end of a cycle, so now you have to go somewhere. What's coming towards you is the Sun, the Hermit, and the Page of Wands. Now, if these were people, which they might be, or they might not, we've got a Leo, we've got a Virgo, and we've potentially got a Sagittarius. That's how I see that. Page of Wands. Very Sagittarian energy for me. But if it's not, it seems like what's coming towards you is a great lifting of the spirit, actually. The Sun card is the most positive card in the deck. Like, it literally illuminates every reading that it appears in. Even in its reverse, it is relentlessly positive, right? But there's a great sense of lifting of weight for me on this. The difference between these two cards, even though they're similarly coloured and everything, this is very heavy, this is very dense, this feels very oppressive. This just, it's like a balloon in comparison. It's just floating in the wind. It's funny which, I just did another reading for a different sign and the Sun came up. Pisces. If you're dealing with a Pisces, or you've got Pisces in your chart, maybe check that video out. It could be foreign travel. That's the thing. We're going somewhere warm, But whatever it is, it's a great lifting of the spirits. Something is going to lift your spirits. And it's going to enable you to go within and have a look and see how this situation occurred in the first place, right? It could be that this process of stillness, cultivating stillness in order to work out what's gone on here and why you feel so disempowered, because, right, that's a Leo card, but that's the hard Leo card right there. This is the other side of the coin. This is the playful, joyful, childlike aspect of Leo that's right here. This period of contemplation, this period of introspection allows you to release that fire. It allows you to let it out and see where you're going. And where you're going is on a new start, right? Because this is what the Page of Wands says to me. It talks about moving off in a new direction, potentially uncharted territory. But it's a different kind of energy to the Fool, right? Because the Fool's just moving forwards in blind trust, right? Blind faith that everything will be fine. This Page of Wands is super excited, actually, about where he's going. But it also follows on directly from the 10. The Pips cards run from the Ace to the 10. And then that's the end of a cycle. Strictly, they go back to the Ace. But I mean, it goes 10 and then it goes into the Core cards, right? So that is a natural progression right there. Once you put those ones down and you just pick one, just one, you've got an opportunity to bounce off in a different direction. And that page is so excited about it. Like, all of the pages are messengers and they have jobs to do, right? But this one's excited about what he gets to see, what he gets to experience while he's doing his job. The job itself is just neither here nor there. It's all about the experience. And this is what's coming towards you. Now, it could be it's a message of an opportunity to be able to do that. That's possible. Or it could just be that this period of contemplation that you fall into, which, allows you to reconnect with your fire, right? Turn your fire upright instead of being turned down. Lets you go. Another card for the Page of Wands, please. No. 5 of Wands. Cannot make it up. Right. So, you got the 5 of Wands and the Fool. I was literally just talking about the Fool. Right. It's moving away from this energy, right? This is another 5. It's about conflict. It's about change. It's about competition. It's about things being too hard, and it's come out as it sits on my table. You know, it's on the same line as this 10 here, right? It's moving away from this because it's all too hard. Whatever this is, whatever this conflict is, you're leaving it behind, and you're headed off in a different direction with the energy of both the Fool and the Page of Wands, right? Fool for me is the card of Aries, actually, as well. major energy underpinning what is a new start, the first steps on an adventure. And whether that's coming via a message that's coming in to let you know that this is something that's open to you, or whether it's just straight off the back of this. I mean, we've got the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. This is just about clarity. It's about gaining clarity. And I feel like that's what this is for you. You know, it's kind of searching around in the dark to find your light, because that's how these are sitting on the table. Disempowered to completely empowered, and complete, actually. Incorporated. I like it. So, whoop. Let's get some cards of advice for you for this time period. Whoop. 3 cards of advice, please. 3 cards of advice. Yeah. That's really interesting. The 3 cards of advice that you've got are the Tower, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Magician, right? These are the cards of Gemini and Scorpio, respectively. But I love the fact that we've had the Fool come out already, and then we've got the Magician, right? That's progression. It's the next logical step from that. But let's deal with these 2 cards here first, because these are slightly more problematic, right? The Tower energy is sudden and shocking, and when it comes in, like, nothing's the same ever again, right? Everything is completely transformed, because whatever's not been built on solid foundations, you know, whatever labours you've been, you know, misapprehensions, there you go, misapprehensions you've been labouring under, they are pulled away, they're gone, right? And I think the Tower's come up for every single sign that I've read for this month. I don't know, certainly most of them at least. And as I'm getting now bored of saying, like, my most profound Tower moments have not been when external things have happened to me, you know, they're not like losing jobs and stuff like that. It's nothing like that. The most profound ones have been about a change in the way that I see things, you know, that epiphany, flash of inspiration, a flash of clarity, in fact, that comes along exactly when you need it, and it tears down all of the things that you thought you knew, you thought you understood, you thought you could rely on. You realise now that that was a misapprehension that you were labouring under, and it's gone, right? Expect the Tower. Expect a change in the way that you see things. Don't expect it to be easy, because this is the 5 of Pentacles. This is another 5. We've got more shifting circumstances. You know, there's a lot of stuff in flux at the moment. But for me, this is a card of poverty of any description. So it can be, you know, financial. And being Pentacles, it's often interpreted that way. But for me, it can be any kind of resources whatsoever. So it can be emotional. It can be, you know, anything, you know, or a fear of losing those things. It's a fear of abandonment, fear of being left out in the cold, fear of being poor, any of those stuff. Maybe it's a realisation that this is what's been driving you, right? And that is what causes you to change the way that you see things. Or maybe it's something coming in that makes you realise that you need to lose a few things in order to gain more. Because what you've got is the Magician, right? That's the master manifester. This is the one who can bring into the 3D absolutely anything that he chooses. You know, he knows exactly the right combination, the right ratio of the elements to use to manifest into the 3D what he needs. You know, so he creates as he speaks. It's the card of Gemini. But those two cards are completely at odds with each other, right? And those two cards came out together with the realization is that you are not impoverished in whatever sense that it is. You are not disempowered, actually, in whatever sense that that arises. Not disempowered at all. And in fact, you are incredibly powerful. And what the only thing that you need to really go within to reconnect with your fire with is to realize just what a powerful being you are, and how you God, sorry, and how it is that circumstances overtook you powerful being, enough to leave you disempowered, to leave you disconnected from your fire, right? Because once you have that realization, then you go back looking for the way to reconnect it. And when you reconnect it, it's fucking glorious, it's joyful, it's wonderful, and it sticks you in this mode. It's amazing. Right, I'm going to leave it there. And I'll see you in like a week or so or something for the monthlies. Right, take care.